In a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a hard-working farmer named Thomas. He wasn't a wealthy man, but he had a good heart and a deep love for his family. One crisp autumn morning, Thomas managed to catch one of his finest sheep. As he looked at the healthy animal, an idea struck him. He called out to his son, Michael, a bright young man of 20 who was helping in the barn. "Son, come here. I want you to do something for me." Michael wiped his hands on his work apron and walked over to his father. "Yes, father?" Thomas smiled warmly. "We're going to have a feast tonight. I want you to go into town and call our neighbors, our relatives, and all our friends. Tell them we're having a celebration and they're all invited to join us for dinner." Michael nodded, but as he walked toward the gate, a thought crossed his mind. Over the years, he had noticed something troubling. Whenever there was food, drinks, or celebrations at their home, certain people always showed up first, ate the most, and stayed the longest. But when his family faced difficulties, when his father was sick last winter, when they needed help repairing the barn roof after the storm, those same people were nowhere to be found. Their excuses were always ready. "Oh, I didn't hear about it," or "I was too busy," or "I had other commitments." Yet somehow, news of a feast always reached their ears with remarkable speed. As Michael reached the town square, he made a decision. Instead of announcing a feast, he cupped his hands around his mouth and began shouting at the top of his lungs, "Fire! Fire! Our house is on fire! Please, someone help us! Our home is burning!" The response was immediate but divided. Some people, upon hearing the desperate cry, dropped everything. Old Mr. Peterson, the blacksmith, left his forge still burning and grabbed 2 buckets. Mrs. Chen, who ran the general store, locked her shop without a second thought and rushed to gather containers. Young David, barely 16, ran to the well and started filling anything that could carry water. They didn't ask questions, they didn't hesitate, they simply acted because someone was in trouble. But there was another group, the ones Michael had expected to see. His father's cousin, Richard, who never missed a meal at their house, suddenly became very interested in examining the vegetables at the market stall. The Hendersons, who had attended every celebration they'd ever thrown, seemed completely absorbed in their conversation. Marcus, who had once said Thomas was like a brother to him, somehow didn't hear the shouting, despite standing just 50 feet away. Michael watched it all with a knowing sadness. It was exactly as he had suspected. Within minutes, a dozen people came rushing up the path to the farm, carrying buckets, pots, and anything that could hold water. Their faces showed genuine concern, their breathing heavy from running. Some were people Michael knew well, but others were faces he had only seen in passing, people his family had occasionally helped with small favors, people who simply understood what it meant to be part of a community. As they reached the farmhouse, they looked around frantically. "Where's the fire?" Mr. Peterson shouted, his eyes scanning the buildings. "Is everyone safe?" Mrs. Chen called out, looking for signs of smoke. Michael stepped forward, his expression both grateful and apologetic. "There is no fire. I'm sorry for alarming you, but please don't leave. My father caught a sheep this morning and we're preparing a feast. You are all invited to stay and eat with us." The group looked at each other in confusion. Mr. Peterson shrugged his head. "You called us here for a false alarm?" "Not false. A test, perhaps, but more importantly, a revelation. You all dropped everything when you thought we were in danger. You didn't think about what you might gain. You didn't calculate whether helping us would benefit you. You simply came because we needed you. That kind of heart, that kind of friendship, that is what deserves to be celebrated and honored." Mrs. Chen's expression softened. "Well, I'm just glad everyone is safe, but we should probably get back to our work." "Please," Michael insisted, "I would be honored if you would stay. My father doesn't know yet that I called you this way, but I believe when I explain it to him, he will understand, and he will want to share this meal with people who have proven themselves to be true friends." One by one, they agreed to stay, though some still seemed uncertain about the unusual invitation. As Michael led the group to the courtyard behind the house, where his father was preparing the fire pit for cooking, the women began offering to help with the preparations. Mr. Peterson offered to season and prepare the meat, something he had learned from his years of working with fire and metal. Young David ran back to town and returned with fresh bread from his mother's bakery, refusing to accept payment. Emerged from the barn with his arms full of firewood and stopped in surprise when he saw the gathering crowd. These were not the faces he had expected to see. Where were his brothers? Where were the Hendersons who lived just down the road? Where was Marcus, who had promised just last week that they should get together soon? Instead, he saw the blacksmith, the shopkeeper, the baker's son, and several others he knew by face, but not by name. Good people, certainly, but not the ones he had asked Michael to invite. His son approached him, and Thomas set down the firewood. "Michael, what's going on? Why didn't you invite our relatives and friends? Who are all these people?" Michael took a deep breath. "Father, please don't be angry. Let me explain what I did and why." He told his father everything, how he had shouted about a fire instead of a feast, how some people had come running immediately, while others had deliberately ignored the call for help, how the people now gathered in their courtyard were the ones who had proven through action rather than words that they cared about the family's well-being. Thomas listened in silence, his expression unreadable. Finally, when Michael finished, the older man stood quietly for a long moment, looking at the faces of the people who had come. Finally, he spoke. "When I was young, my father told me something I never fully understood until now. He said, 'Thomas, in life you will have many acquaintances, but very few true friends. The difference between them will only become clear when you truly need help.' I thought I understood what he meant, but I realize now I've been fooling myself for years." He turned to face the gathered group. "My son is wiser than I am. He saw what I was too blind or too proud to see. Some people in our lives are there for the good times, for the free meals, for the celebrations. But when crisis comes, when real need arises, they vanish like morning mist. You, all of you here, you didn't come for food. You didn't come for entertainment. You came because you thought we were in trouble and you wanted to help. There is no greater test of friendship than that." Thomas walked among the group, making eye contact with each person. "I want to apologize to all of you. Some of you I have known for years but never truly appreciated. Others I barely know at all. I've been so focused on maintaining relationships with people I thought were important, people who claimed to be close to us, that I failed to recognize the real friends who were right in front of me." He paused by Mr. Peterson. "You've always been willing to help when we needed metalwork done. You always did it fairly and quickly. But I never invited you to our celebrations because I thought we weren't close enough." He moved to Mrs. Chen. "You've extended credit to us during hard months, never demanding immediate payment, trusting us to settle our accounts when we could. Yet I always invited the Hendersons instead because we're related by marriage." Thomas's voice grew thick with emotion. "I have been a fool. I have honored the wrong people and taken the right people for granted." Michael placed a hand on his father's shoulder. "You're not a fool, Father. You're human. We all want to believe the best about the people we're close to, but sometimes life gives us opportunities to see the truth clearly." Thomas nodded and then raised his voice so everyone could hear.
My son taught me an important lesson today. True hospitality isn't about feeding those who expect to be fed. It's about honoring those who deserve to be honored. And you deserve it, not because of what you might do for us in the future, but because of what you've already proven about your character. The group seemed moved by his words. Mrs. Chen spoke up, her voice gentle. "Thomas, we didn't come here expecting a reward. We came because it's the right thing to do. That's what neighbors do." "I know, and that's exactly why you deserve this feast more than anyone else. Because you didn't come for a reward. You came because you care. That kind of genuine concern is rare and precious, and it should be treasured." As the sun began to set, the unlikely gathering transformed into a true celebration. The meat was cooked perfectly, seasoned with Mr. Peterson's expert touch. Fresh bread was shared around. People told stories, laughed together, and discovered connections they hadn't known existed. Michael watched his father, seeing a change in the older man's demeanor. Thomas was more relaxed, more genuine in his interactions than Michael had seen in years. He wasn't trying to impress anyone or maintain a certain image. He was simply enjoying the company of good people.
As the feast was reaching its peak, there was a commotion at the gate. Marcus appeared, along with Richard and the Henderson family. They had bottles of wine and looked dressed for a celebration. "Thomas," Marcus called out cheerfully, "we heard there was a feast tonight. We wouldn't miss it for the world." The courtyard fell silent. Everyone turned to look at the newcomers and then at Thomas, waiting to see how he would respond. Thomas stood slowly and walked to the gate. His face was calm but serious. "Marcus, Richard, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson, I'm surprised to see you." "Of course we came," Richard said jovially. "Family is family after all. We always make time for each other." "Interesting," Thomas said quietly. "My son was in town earlier, shouting desperately that our house was on fire, that we needed help. Yet none of you came. Strange how you didn't hear that, but somehow news of a feast reached your ears perfectly well." The smiles faded from their faces. Marcus stammered, We were busy. We didn't hear about any fire." "But you heard about the feast," Michael said, stepping forward to stand beside his father, "despite me not mentioning it to anyone except those who came when they thought we needed help." Thomas looked at each of them in turn. "For years, I've opened my home to you. I've shared what I had, celebrated your successes, and considered you among my closest friends and family. But today, my son showed me something I should have seen long ago. When we were supposedly in crisis, when our home was allegedly burning, you couldn't be bothered to help. But for a free meal, you found the time immediately." Mrs. Henderson looked offended. "Thomas, that's not fair. We have our own lives, our own responsibilities. As do the people sitting in my courtyard right now. Mr. Peterson left his forge burning. Mrs. Chen closed her shop in the middle of the day. Young David here ran all the way from town carrying buckets. They all had responsibilities too, but they chose to help anyway." He took a deep breath. "I'm not angry with you. I'm just disappointed that it took this long for me to see things clearly. You're welcome to come in if you wish, but understand that things have changed. I will no longer be the person who always extends invitations, who always tries to maintain these relationships while receiving nothing in return. From now on, I will invest my time and hospitality in people who have proven they care about more than just what I can provide for them." Marcus and the others stood there for a moment, uncertain what to say. Finally, they turned and left without another word. Some looked ashamed, others angry, but none could argue with the truth of what Thomas had said. As Thomas returned to the feast, Mr. Peterson raised his cup. To honest friendship and to the wisdom to recognize it. Everyone joined in the toast, and the celebration continued with even greater warmth than before.
Later that evening, as the guests were leaving, each one thanked Thomas and Michael for the meal and the company. Many expressed that they had enjoyed this simple gathering more than many elaborate parties they had attended. When the last guest had gone, Michael and Thomas sat together by the dying fire. "You taught me something important today, son," Thomas said quietly. "You taught me that true friendship isn't about who shows up when times are good. It's about who shows up when times are bad. The people who came running to put out a fire that didn't exist, they are our true loved ones. They deserve our genuine hospitality, our time, our effort, not those who only appear when there's something in it for them." Michael nodded. "I hope I didn't embarrass you, Father." "Embarrass me?" Thomas laughed softly. "That saved me from wasting more years on people who don't truly care about us. That's not embarrassment, that's wisdom." As the stars came out above them, both father and son felt a sense of peace. They had learned that quality matters more than quantity when it comes to relationships, and that true friendship reveals itself not in words or promises, but in actions taken when those actions cost something. The lesson was simple but profound. Surround yourself with people who come running when your house is on fire, not just when dinner is ready.